Everyone's heard of the octopus. It used to be thought of as a sea monster, but actually the octopus is shy and emotional. Its skin is its largest organ, and it can change colors in a second. The octopus is smart, having about the same intelligence as a cat, but unlike a cat, it has 8 legs and 2 hearts and a beak. Hi, I'm Jack Hanna. Join me on Zoo Life to learn more about the animals of the world. Here at SeaWorld Ohio, visitors are encouraged to let their adventurous side come out. And what better way to learn than having fun? Got them good. Yeah. There we go. All right, lady. Land ho. The Pirates of Pinniped show holds fun for everyone as the spectators are introduced to one of the most feisty marine mammals. I ought to warn you, these animals can be pretty cute and cuddly, but they can also have a mean temper. With me today is Ted Turner, the famous Ted Turner of SeaWorld. He's going to explain to me just how you can hold this animal.
Well, Jack, they do have short tempers, but only if you step on their tail.
Yeah, I raised a couple of these in a bathtub in Florida once, and you're right. They're very flighty, very cute.
Right.
It seems like they're always playing.
Yeah, well, they are. These animals are very, very curious. They're absolutely fearless.
This little noise he's making, that's his happy sound?
Yeah, they snurf around. We call it snurfing. And these otters have a lot of different vocalizations. They'll chirp, they'll growl, they'll make little noises like that, little happy noises. I don't know what they mean exactly, but usually it's a sign of contentment on her part.
Now,
no, actually, she does that right before she bites the guest in the face.
That's it. I'll feed you one more of these.
Yeah, we'll give you one more.
Yeah, now, can I see some of the routines?
Absolutely. The behaviors that we use in our show are usually extensions of what you would normally see them doing when they're foraging for food. They'll be walking through hollows or scavenging for food or climbing up little areas.
Look how that thing moves.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that.
He's really dexterous.
It's like a monkey.
Yeah, don't tell him that.
No,
Please don't get close and tell him that.
Good night.
Yeah, they do. As you can see, that they can really explore some territory. These animals mostly inhabit beaver dams. They'll take over old beaver lodges, and they got to do a lot of climbing in the wild, so that's perfectly natural for them. Some of these scampering through some of the small openings that we have, that's how the animals climb back into their dens. And we take those behaviors and modify them slightly for the shows so children learn to understand and appreciate those behaviors that otters normally perform. They swim in the show. They would do hunting like that in the wild.
Huh.
Their body is actually streamlined shape, and their feet are webbed. They're webbed so they can displace a lot of water and swim much quicker. And the fur, of course, is the most important thing. They have 2 layers of fur. We have a very thick layer underneath. It actually keeps them dry. Even though they're in the water, their skin never really gets wet. Hunters can go right up to them. They used to club them for their fur and skin, and they have very, very thick fur. The North American river otters were completely wiped out in Ohio back in the 1950s. The reason is because of habitat loss and also because of the trapping. Of course, many of these problems are all man-made. It seems to be that way across the board for most species.
Ted, it seems like the otters are endangered all over the world. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't really know what's going to happen. There's a lot of efforts underway to try and save these animals, but hopefully our contribution can be teaching these people to appreciate these animals by seeing them in the show and hopefully they can care a little bit more and do some things to help save it.
We've all heard of scary tales of deadly monsters of the deep, especially about the eel that hides in caves, waiting to pounce upon his victims with razor-sharp teeth. But here in the terrors of the deep in SeaWorld of Florida, you can see a diver's worst nightmare come true. Inside the world's largest acrylic tunnel, visitors are surrounded by hundreds of green moray eels. Well, they're not actually green. A yellow slime covers their blue skin and makes them look green. That's just one of the fascinating things I learned from Assistant Curator of Fishes, Ray Davis. The eel's reputation being like a monster, is that deserved?
Actually, it's kind of ill-deserved because of the fact that you're intruding in his space. And actually, what we're trying to show here with Terrors of Deep at SeaWorld, Florida, is that the true terror is man.
Huh.
That whenever somebody's bit, generally it's from them trying to handle this fish that doesn't want to be handled. So we are intruding upon their space. We're an alien in its environment.
When you get to know the eel, you realize that much of its bad reputation comes from the way it looks. Ray, these eels look just like a snake. Are they kin to a snake?
They're actually a fish that happens to be very long and slippery looking, very much like a snake.
The way they breathe also adds to their scary look.
And instead of having a gill flap like most fish, they have a gill pore, a single opening. So they have to actually force the water through their mouths a lot more strongly. That adds to the menacing look of the animal, and you see the teeth.
And then there's this creature's living habits.
These animals like the sense of security of a close contact area. It's part of their home. So you'll find these things in large knots and groupings together.
What do they eat?
A lot of fish, shrimp, crabs. If you'd like, we can go up and we can feed a few.
Yeah, I'm going to get my fingers. Let's go. Well, this is a big room up here.
This right here is actually above where we were just walking. You can actually look down and see the tube that we walked underwater. We were 14 feet underwater when we walked through down there.
Wow. They don't jump out of the water and bite you, do they?
Only if you're tempting food. You can see that we're going to feed Pacific mackerel here today. We can pick up one of the smaller pieces and see who's interested.
Okay, just put it in the water like this?
Yeah, put it right up next to his mouth. Wow. See how they grab that? They have a very strong grip.
You can feel it. Just let him have it?
Yes, let him have it. He'll be able to swallow that whole.
Wow. He didn't even chew it.
He won't. He'll grab it.
Oh!
Be careful now. We don't want them to jump out at you.
No.
Okay, there we go. You can go ahead and let go.
It's kind of scary. I know they can't. I'm pretty brave.
I can tell.
Yeah, you can tell.
Steady hand.
What do you like about these things?
They're gorgeous. They have a unique and beautiful life history that includes the fact that a lot is not known. Kind of mysterious. You know.
I think that's a better word, I think, instead of scary and mysterious.
Yes.
Terrors of the Deep gets even more mysterious with this spectacular sight of the world's largest display of lionfish. Over 500 of them. You know, Ray, those eels were really spooky. Now, these fish are beautiful, but just how dangerous are they?
Well, what's amazing here is that these fish, as beautiful as they are, can be quite deadly. They hide spines in those fins that actually can inject a venom. And this venom can be quite paralyzing depending on the individual.
Like the great barracuda, these so-called terrors of the deep deserve a little healthy respect. But the great lesson is in all of nature. If we don't get in their way, they won't get in ours. The Waikiki Aquarium was founded in 1904. Its mission continues to be to help people of all ages understand, love, care for, and work to protect the life of the ocean. This is a rare Hawaiian monk seal, just one of many animals found here. There you go. Yeah, see there. It's located at the west end of Waikiki's famous beach. Waikiki Aquarium houses over 250 species of marine life. Visitors come from all over the world to see the great diversity of sea life on display here. Most of it native to these Hawaiian waters.
What is that little straight thing?
That looks like it would be an eel, sweetie.
They see abundance and beauty, mysterious creatures, and the drama of marine life. And they see an incredible variety of tropical fish, some as brightly colored and beautiful as the islands themselves. Others look fantastic and just plain strange. Curator Ken Yates took me on a tour of some of the strangest.
This thing right here looks like a rock. That's a Titan scorpion fish, and it's supposed to look like a rock. It's an ambush predator that stays in the bottom around rocks, and it has a mottled appearance and kind of a lot of knobs and bumps and hooks and leafy things, so it looks like the rock. And
It's camouflage.
it's really well camouflaged. Its strategy is to look like a rock, remain still like a rock, until food comes by within close enough range. Then its huge mouth and its quick sucking action allow it to be able to suck in its prey item very quickly.
Golly, what kind of a fish is that?
Well, that's one of 3 different species of fish we have in here.
3?
Yeah, I've got 3. They're hard to see.
This fish here, it looks just like a piece of leaf or something.
Well, it's actually trying to simulate a piece of algae. It moves back and forth like a piece of algae would move in the surge in the ocean. These animals live pretty shallow, so there's a lot of surge. And also, it looks like a piece of algae on the rock. It has small filamentous algae growing on it itself. So that helps complete the camouflage. It's really hard to tell that it's a fish.
Now, where's this other fish? I don't see it anywhere.
Well, see, I'm going to give you a hint. If you look over in this corner, look for something moving.
Oh, there it is, down in the gravel there.
Yeah, see, the only thing you can see moving is its eyes.
Looks like a flounder.
Yeah, it's related to flounders.
Those eyeballs just turn all the way around.
Yeah, it can do almost between both of its eyes, kind of up on stalk somewhat, and turn them around. It can almost do a 360 view. That's the idea. It looks all around it without having to move itself.
Amazing.
Some of the adaptations that these fish have are incredible.
Now, what are those big, ugly-looking redwoods?
Well, those are strange eye scorpion fish. And they're kind of ugly because they look like a rock. But, of course, another strange eye scorpion fish is probably gorgeous.
All the fish we're watching here are ambush fish. And do they rely on speed to catch their prey?
They rely on speed only when the prey come within range. Otherwise, they stay still, and they blend in with their surroundings, with their habitat, and sometimes actually do behaviors that are also camouflaging as well.
So they rely on their camouflage.
On the camouflage until the prey come within reach, and then on extreme speed to be able to strike and swallow their prey.
One of the most beautiful and mysterious of marine animals is the chambered nautilus. Until recently, very little was known about this deep water cousin of the octopus.
Nautilus is the most primitive of the cephalopod mollusks. The cephalopods are the octopus and the squid and the cuttlefish. They're quite extraordinary creatures, but among that whole group, the nautilus is the most primitive, and it is an ungainly sort of an animal. It doesn't swim very fast, and yet they're using a propulsion system like jets. They shoot water out of a funnel, a siphon-like arrangement near the base of the shell. When they shoot water out, the animal is propelled backwards. Well, you'd think they could only go backwards with a system like that, but in fact, this siphon is very maneuverable and can turn around under the shell, and they shoot water this way and they'll move forward. So actually they're very maneuverable. They can go up or down, forward or backward.